I'll begin with an introduction of Mary.
Yeah.
Mary has been with Great Leaps and myself a very long time, working with the children of New York City, passionately, consistently, persistently, with many ups and downs over the years, but successfully, and has a wealth of knowledge to offer and share with our group. So that's my introduction of Mary, a longtime, wonderful Great Leaps advocate from New York City.
Thank you. Thank you, Ken. Let me just start with the first time I was asked to work on Great Leaps was back in 2003. It was a brand new position, and we were asked to work that summer on, in my case, on the Great Leaps, and it was a moment that changed my life. I didn't know much about the program. I was training learning leaders at the time. These are parent volunteers. So they were in a school for the summer, and I was able to get the learning leaders and some paraprofessionals to work with me on the program. So we were all learning together. And it was set up where the kids were in the hallway and not disrupting instruction. And the schedule was created by the classroom teacher at the time. And I monitored everything that was going on. And we had Great Leaps reading in the morning. And then the children had classes, had lunch. And in the afternoon, they had Great Leaps math with oral calculations. So it was amazing because the growth that the children had in reading and math, it was amazing. I had never seen anything like it in a very short time. And I was dealing mostly with English language learners. And it was amazing to see them at the end of the summer reading, because when I got them at the beginning of the summer, these were struggling readers and at risk in their schools of special ed referrals. Very, you know, they were just, if you can't read, then you're going to be special ed. That was the bottom line at the time. And we all know that that's not RTI. And so I did my best with Great Leaps, and everybody at the end of the summer, this was their favorite program. And I looked at the children and I asked them, and they told me it was fun. And I said, you know what, you just said the magic words, because if I made reading fun for you and learning math fun for you, I said, I want to learn more about this program. So here we are today. After that, I became a school improvement specialist, and I had been assigned to a school, PS 96, and worked with two wonderful SETS teachers in building the program in their school, but it was not accepted. They already had a program in the school. Although we looked at the data that showed that children were not doing well, especially in ELA, the assistant principal, who is now a principal in Staten Island, Tracy Wright, she said, I'll work with you and we'll pick out a few staff members and we'll work with you this year, and then we'll see what happens. So she loved the program. And at the second year, she made it a school-wide intervention, and we took off. And I couldn't believe it, but I invited Ken and his assistant, Luce, to come and see what we were doing in the school, because we had it everywhere. It was a whole school intervention. And we had AIS in the morning with Great Leaps. We had after school Great Leaps with student tutors. So the upper grade kids were working with the younger kids, and it was monitored by these two wonderful SETS teachers.
1 second, Mary. This is in Spanish Harlem, so people listening can know where we're at.
Yeah, it was in Spanish Harlem, PS 96, but it was, they had a lot of L's in that program. And we were able to move all those L's. So in 2 years, we went from a failing school, which is now called renewal schools. At the time, I was working with the Chancellor's District, and this was a failing school. And we brought that school up to a B school in 2 years. So that was my school improvement days. And after that, I joined the Office of Special Ed and built a program around paraprofessionals, because I felt that this was a powerful force. They were in every school, they were in almost every classroom, and I felt that they could do a lot with this program, and they were empowered. When I came in, there was a lot of resistance. They didn't know what it was about, and slowly modeling and explicitly instructing them daily, we were able to get the program up and running. And so then I worked with schools in 5 boroughs, and I worked with the directors of special ed in each borough and brought the Great Leaps program through these wonderful paraprofessionals in these 5 boroughs. And we had great success. And so I had them for about 2 months and met with them 3 times. And the first time I met with them was introduction to the program and assessments, placement. We were using binders at the time. So placement, assessment, they had to learn everything. After that, they came back to me a week later with their assessment results, and we placed the kids and they started the program and they were off and running. They loved the program. They had great success with the program. And the important thing is everybody had a good time. The children were having fun. The parents really loved it. They felt an ownership over this program, that it was their program. And I think that if we presented to our staff that way, you know, that they can own this program, this is your program, you're going to get to choose the child, blah, blah, blah. They like the decision-making part of it. So they were empowered, and I think they really enjoyed it. One of the most successful paras was Ashley. She came for 2 trainings, and she liked the program and what results she was getting with her kids, and she wanted more. And I directed her to Ken Campbell to become a tutor.
Yeah, and she's been absolutely awesome for us since she trained Carolyn for us. As Carolyn will tell you, she did an excellent job, and yeah, she's been such a great asset to us for sure, and to the kids she's worked with. I wanted to ask Mary, with bringing, you know, Great Leaps to new schools in general, with people, I feel like we're kind of resistant to new things in general, right? And what do you think kind of was the key factor in really turning that around, or trying to maybe open people up to really, you know, giving it a shot in your experience?
I think that the important thing is to get buy-in from the leadership. And working through the directors of special education, they knew their schools in each borough. So they knew the schools that needed support in that area. Reducing those at-risk referral numbers, that was one of our main objectives. And we did accomplish that in a lot of our schools. Supporting our Ls, that was a big motivation, because everybody had L's and they were having difficulty with teaching them how to read. So the really big push was the directors, and they recognized the impact that this program had in the schools. And one of them, Mary Jo Piscano, who was in charge of Queens North, she wanted to put it in every school she had. And I tried really hard to do that. I think we pretty much accomplished that until the COVID hit. And then, you know, everything changed. But
Yes.
thanks to the generosity of Ken Campbell, he gifted New York City with digital access, and we were up and running with the digital program.
Right. Yeah. I wanted to kind of lead to that. Over, us as a program, we've, as a company, we've always tried to improve things, and things have changed obviously since you first started, and you said 2003 with it, right?
Yes.
So I guess kind of how you implement it in New York, how things kind of changed and progressed as you've kind of, worked with a variety of schools. I know New York has kind of the best running model that we have with Great Leaps, and how you, train and bring the program into new schools and places.
I think that I really supported the staff, whether I was training paras or teachers. I really supported and empowered them. And at the end of the trainings, I always asked them to show the results to their leadership in the school. And I think that that was what sold the program in a lot of situations. They saw the data. We were able to collect the data, either manually, we did it with the binders, or digitally, we had it at hand. We showed them graphs, and they were able to see and hear. Once they heard the children reading, it was amazing. And that is what was, I think, the pivotal point in a lot of schools. You have to understand that New York City goes through a lot of different programs through the years. And so it's hard to keep up with the ever-changing literacy intervention that's going on every year, year after year. There's different programs coming in and out. I think that we're doing a good job. We have different programs. Our team works with centrally funded IEP teachers now. We want to support them and empower them to become interventionists, so that they know different interventions, and so that they're able to handle things like phonemic awareness or fluency and comprehension. This is something that they all should know. And right now, it's important that all teachers become intervention teachers. Every teacher should be able to teach reading, and hopefully that will come to be, because we have a lot of catching up to do.
Mary, I have some
with the
thoughts
pandemic.
on the question that was offered. Is the impact of a leader is far more than I as a teacher ever recognized. Real early, Eileen Marzola was looking and searching. She knew in her own world what was happening is when we just taught phonics superbly, we had robot readers. They could figure out any word in the whole world, but Eileen knew reading is far more than being able to figure out what a word is. So she was on the search, and one of the people she loved was Cecil Mercer, my professor, my mentor, and then friend.
Right.
Cecil was speaking in Chicago on a group, this is so early in Great Leaps, on a group of high schoolers, and the growth they got. And the growth was phenomenal. It looks just like what Jake got in Atlanta and what we're getting all over the place. But Cecil was speaking to that amazing growth, and Eileen heard it. Is this the bridge? And she called it, the reason Great Leaps may be called a fluency program, and it's more, of course, but it's between Eileen and Cecil Mercer. Both of them saw what we got in those fluency numbers. So she brought it to New York City, and her good buddy, Carmen Farina, who, strange to me, is a big name in balanced literacy. But Eileen and Carmen brought direct instruction, behavioral direct instruction in phonics to New York City, and their leadership power got it to tens of thousands of children. It's just, all when I did not even have the money as a teacher to go here, to go to the LD conference and listen to Cecil talk. I could not afford it. But that is that origin. And you mentioned leadership. Boy, is that it. Teacher Ken always thought that this would spread like a cancer from the bottom up, that with success, it would breed success. No, it spreads through strong leadership dedicated to children. That you, Eileen, Lavinia, and a lot of people I've met in the city show that leadership. That's how we change lives.
Right. See, the thing is that although the paras like the program, they're limited in what they can do because they work under a teacher. So if the teacher likes the program, then they may be able to use it. But if the teacher was using a different program, chances are they weren't going to be able to use it. So working with the centrally funded IEP teachers is critical at this point because they are the specialists. They do know different reading interventions and they're able to reach a lot more children and work with other staff in their building, because that's part of their job description. Is they are the ones that are going to do the professional learning within their schools to staff that need it. So it's been a great experience. I've been doing it with the centrally funded teachers now for about 4 years. So we went through the high schools, middle schools, elementary schools. And our focus is now on the year 3 of the centrally funded IEP teachers. I already work with the year 4s and 5s. So this is the year 3s that are coming up next week, their training.
Lavinia, do you have something to add there? I saw, yeah.
Well, I just wanted to do a shout out for Mary and Tracy Wright. And I know them. And as leaders, they are absolutely determined. And I think that is a very fine quality of leadership. They will make things work. And they do.
Yeah,
Thank
we've
you,
seen it in
Lavinia.
action. It's great.
Lavinia worked with me side by side last year with all the teachers so that I could support, Joanne Lenz when she worked with her program and the centrally funded IEP teachers. So we built a very strong collaboration between Lavinia, Joanne, and I. And I think we got some really good results from that. Thank you, Lavinia. I appreciate your kind words.
Yeah.
There's Anthony, a star pupil of your.
Anthony is my star pupil.
Oh,
He's
well,
my favorite.
I've got to witness, yes, the triumvirate, Mary, Joanne, and Lavinia for 3 years as a centrally funded AP teacher. I was very, very grateful for all of them,
Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate that. And you've done so much with the program. You're a leader in training also. You have what it takes, and it's not unnoticed. You have the drive, the creativity.
It's just thrilling to see the kids reading and doing something that succeeds. I'm tired of, I spent many years as a special ed teacher, learning to be a teacher because I was a fellow, and going like, well, they're telling me I have to do this. It's not working. And then to finally get something that's working is just thrilling. It's like what we say for kids, success breeds success.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's motivating.
Yes. It's the children that motivate all of us. And with what's been going on, I think that it's even more important to get the word out and to try to get this program out to as many kids as we can, because we're going to have a lot of catching up to do. We can't leave these kids behind. We have to make sure we get them on track as soon as we can. And this is the best program for it. Because they find it fun. It's fast, it's easy, it's effective. In a very short time, we can get kids reading on grade level. The problem
with ideas of recidivism right now.
Yes, that's the problem.
We know when children do not get instruction, they fall behind.
Yeah.
After 3 weeks, it begins picking up steam. We many of our children, I've heard it's almost in the city, half of our children that did not get instruction at all through as we tried to reach them through tech and everything. What we've got here is in 15 minutes, we could knock it to 10 if we had to, but in 15 minutes, we can not only stop recidivism, but get gains. So turn that around. But now we've got a problem is children have fallen behind. And these are children that there is, I hate labeling children. I hate labeling them. I mean, these are children, there's nothing wrong with these children that after they get out of school, they don't have any labels anymore. They are working regular American citizens. My own nephew is a great example of that. He was labeled in school and put away in special places. Sick of labeling. Label us, train us. And like Lavinia said about this first grade teachers, a first grade teacher that cannot teach phonics, they need to be washing the blackboards and meeting the cars at the door, and let our paras teach these kids. There's no magic. What there is a tool. And we've been very resistant to use the tools we have. And what I watch here and see amongst our group of our inner core is a ton load of heart and commitment. And what I've yelled for the longest is 3 things for this stool to stand up. It's a 3-legged stool. A 2-legged stool, you're constantly fighting. The third leg of the stool is leadership. We need leadership, heart, and commitment. You've got your army, you've got caring people, you've got people that want this to change, but they're being handicapped and saying they can't make the change. They can't make the change. Yes, the hell they can. We know it. And we don't have to pull these kids and treat them like they're something different. They're not different. They're us. And don't pull them out of social studies and science. Figure out, teach those teachers how to give a test without them having to read. You can watch, it's very frustrating to sit and think that kids need 2 hours a day of reading instruction when we have data from way over 100,000 kids that no, you don't. You can get substantive growth, and here's the critical piece that generalizes. It must generalize. And what we're watching is success after success after success. It generalizing. We haven't played the academic game because it isn't who we are. What we are is a reading program and a behavior program deeply involved in the behaviors of reading to change a crisis and turn it around for all kids. It can be the rich kids. We've seen them in Manhattan. I forget the name of the school and how much it costs. It 3 years out. Maybe, yes, it's the Stephen Gaynor School, which has done an unbelievably good job. An expensive place. But then we've seen Spanish Harlem and Bronx and all the boroughs. The kids with the $1 million in their reading look no different than the kids we're bumping into in the Bronx. So like Pokemon, I keep going, just got to catch them all.
That's right.
Mary, I wanted to ask, and I know we've kind of talked about this before when I interviewed you for those videos previously, but with everything that's happened and the challenges that the schools have gone through, having to close down and everything through the pandemic, with already the challenges in organizing a program and getting people on the same page, I just want to see if you could kind of speak to that experience a little bit and how, you're able to kind of, I don't know, re-rally the troops and get the horses in line and, keep the kids getting the services that they needed, because you all did a fantastic job continuing the program.
All hell broke loose, didn't it, Mary? Like, whoa.
It was thanks to Ken's generosity that we were able to pivot really quickly. And thanks to the digital Great Leaps, a lot of our children were able to continue with their instruction with their teachers doing Great Leaps with them remotely. And this was new for our teachers. At the very last minute, at the drop of a hat, schools were closed. They didn't even have their materials with them in some cases. And students they weren't taking everything home because schools were closed so suddenly. So we had to do the impossible. And my wonderful teachers all rose to the occasion. They just picked up where they left off and tried to work with the kids. The problem that we were having mainly was the transition was difficult for our children. You know, we needed the collaboration of their families to help us because a lot of them didn't know how to even log on with a computer, with a laptop or a desktop. So we had to reteach remote learning. And thank God we had our gift of the Great Leaps digital program to use during the beginning stages back last year. I mean, this was last year that we were running into this. And my wonderful teachers and paras continued where they, you know, if they could. Some of them are still using binders remotely, you know, because they believed in the program. And that brought all of those kids, you know, to the point where they were able to continue with instruction. It was uninterrupted, and that was critical. So,
Mary, can I say something?
oh yes, Annie, hi.
Hey, Mary, how are you?
Hi, dear.
Without Mary and Ken giving us the backbone and giving us the digital version, we would have been lost because Mary trained us in it, but Ken gave it to us, and we would have been lost without it. Our kids wouldn't have made the gains they made in 3 months, because March, April, May, June, they made significant gains because of the digital version and because Mary trained us on it.
Thank you so much, Annie.
Mary, I've got to throw this to you. Out of 200 teachers, are 200 of your 200 of your teachers that were trained in January? All hell broke loose.
Did I just lose you?
I'm still here. You're here.
Okay.
But
okay, you can still see me? I'm sorry, guys.
No,
I'm having trouble.
I've lost your picture, but I hear you. But you kept 142 of those children were kept, and I know for sure 20 of them, March 12th and 13th, left New York City because it was crazy. But you kept them, and then the data came out in 3 months. Every kid I looked at, and I looked at 142 of them. The only one child that stood out that did not move was a kid who, on his very first reading timing, read 8 words and 7 of them were wrong. And he was an English language learner who couldn't speak English at all. So what you did there and how that transition and all happened, we're a little piece of that.
Yeah, the decision was easy for us. You have to enable our people to be successful. And with Great Leaps, you know, we knew our Great Leaps users out there in the schools were going through this. There was kind of no option but to give you the opportunity at least to be successful through the, you know, at doing the Great Leap students remotely.
Felt like 9/11 to me.
Yeah, it was critical to have a digital program because teachers were asked to do digital teaching at the drop of a hat, and it had to be a simple, easy program that they enjoyed working on, and they could do it remotely. The key was the remote digital access. That was really important because digital teaching was new to everybody.
Well, Lisa and Colin worked incredibly hard to make, we did a transition in like a week, you know, and that's the difference between being a giant corporation and stuff and being a group of caring people. You know,
yeah, it's an all hands on deck for sure moment of, okay, we got to get some videos out to help with the remote instruction. We got to make sure there's, you know, support materials there for these teachers.
It was a crisis, but felt fun. I mean, the fun piece of is, okay, here we go. Boy, this is in behavior. This is what we're trained for. Let's do it. Let's get this sucker cracking, you know, and to see it happen. It doesn't happen everywhere. It takes leadership for that to happen. I mean, we offered, by the way, we just didn't offer New York City practitioners the free digital to write it out for the rest of the school year. We offered the entire country. everybody because I'm an American. And whatever that means to me, it means you guys are my neighbors. You guys matter. And of course the whole world matters, but you're close and we're here. Let's do it. And we could do it. And we did it. And just watching how that happened. And then the data came in. We had no clue as what this data was going to look like. I mean, none, because you're in the middle of a pandemic.
Right.
This is all new. We had no clue. And then when it came out, this is amazing to me. It came out looking like the in-person data that we've had for 25 years. It looks exactly, this is what, you'll find this wild, Mary, your public school 96 data from real early.
Yeah.
Which is a group that did the program with fidelity, with good leadership. It looks exactly like Romeo Elementary School in Ocala, Florida, which is about 1/3 to 1/2 ELLs. It looks the same. This means we were hitting it, 98.6, thermometers can tell if you have a fever.
Yeah.
We've hit that. Now, how do we take what we all know and help end this huge crisis of reading in our country and not be self-serving about it, and have everyone here I see has that same heart of service that we're teachers, and we're teachers. This is we didn't go into it because of the monthly paychecks or the summer vacations or that. We went into it because of children. Children matter. I'm an accidental entrepreneur. I had no clue about business. Especially when Eileen wanted to bring it into New York City, and then the whole person in charge of all Brooklyn wants to buy a huge amount. And we were making these books by a Xerox machine and putting them together on one page at a time. And suddenly you hit New York City. Whoa. It was a pretty cool story, and it's remained a cool story.
I remember boxing books when I was little, and those orders came through and helping. It's funny to see obviously how things grow and change and progress. Yeah. Mary, I'd ask you this: with all the work you've done in New York and all the lives you've impacted, kind of what do you hope for? I don't know, the future, I guess, of education in New York City for this, students there that aren't even students yet, and kind of in your own, I guess, career, what I guess legacy would you like to live and feel like you put your mark in making it a better place?
I just hope, I think that people like Annie and Ashley and Anthony, they're the ones that I remember and I will hold very close to my heart because of what they've done with the program. And the legacy is that I was able to reach at a very critical point during this past year. A lot of wonderful teachers and paras and administrators that recognize the efficacy of this simple program. And hopefully we could turn things around using Great Leaps because it works. And even more important than that, the kids love it, and I'm for anything that the children love, I think that we always have to remember that the children are the critical barometers of learning. If they like it, they're going to do it. They're going to show up. They're going to come to your class. That's one of the biggest problems a lot of our teachers are having, is that a lot of the kids are so traumatized that they aren't even signing in. They're not logging in. I don't know if it's because they don't know how, or there's no one there to help them. I don't know the reason why this is happening. And this is something that we have to focus on so we could support them.
Mary,
I tell all my teachers that the most important thing you have to teach your children is to be independent. They can be at home by themselves, turn the computer on, log on, and then connect with you. And that's an important part of instruction when you talk about remote teaching. You can't just expect the kids to know automatically what to do, you know, because they're not experienced with computers, you know, and they need that experience. And I think it's critical because we don't know what's going to happen next month. You know, middle school is in New York City, middle school is starting next week. You know, they're supposed to be coming back. And that's going to be a big push to get them back into the schools now. That's not going to be an easy thing to do also.
Right.
Because our children have been traumatized, rightfully so. It's been a very difficult experience. And we have to make it easier and simpler and something that we can get them to buy into. And if we tell them that we can help them with their reading and catch up, I think that that's a very important point that we want to share with our children. That yes, you have missed a lot of learning, but we can help you. We can catch up. We're going to do it. We'll
It doesn't have to be like eating broccoli. It doesn't have to be that way.
Right. That we can make it together, and we will do it together, and it'll be fun and fast and very effective. And I think that that's my legacy that I would like to leave behind. You
Awesome.
know, is that we reach more children. You know.
Yeah.
In the world of behavior, the very first thing you always want to do, and even the psychodynamic, that's the Freudian people, even they see this, is they will use the words establish rapport. I'll use the words, I want that kid to think he died and went to heaven the second he meets me. I don't even, my first objective has zero to do with reading. It has everything to do with that kid buying in. Most of the children I dealt with, and I'm in behavior disorders, hated reading, hated it with a passion because they had failed forever. They thought of themselves as being especially stupid. And the more you got towards adolescence, the more stupid they felt. I can counsel them forever and get nowhere because they've been counseled forever. We break that down and destroy it quickly, like in 2 to 3 weeks with Great Leaps. We're a behavior program, big time. In 2 to 3 weeks, we begin destroying that negativity through reality. Right. They hear themselves reading. They know they're reading. They know they're getting faster. Yes. It isn't me telling them about it. It isn't giving them skills in isolation that, hey, I can see this and go, buh. Right. In their world, the world of the streets, so damned what? But when they have felt stupid forever, felt chastised, felt school was a hard, evil place. Right. We changed that, and we do that, and we go again to that success breeds success. Once it gets rolling, the human brain is so powerful. It learns fast. It isn't us doing all this. Right. It's what you've got the kid motivated, taking 10 to 15 minutes a day within their attention span. It's all you need. With most of our readers, our dysfunctional readers, our social handicaps, nothing is wrong with them. Yeah. I'll go to Ken Pugh out of Yale again. I like going to him because he said 97% of our children can be taught to read. Why aren't we teaching them? Right. And we know how. And we need to be the cheerleaders, the ringleaders, the leaders. That word keeps coming up. Leaders. We need to establish other leaders who have an altruistic focus. Not the focus on their career, not the focus on their philosophy, not the focus on them, the focus on the child. That's who we need to find, and education is filled with us. Right.
I wanted to open it up here too, as we're kind of at the like 45-minute mark or so. Did any of you all have questions for Mary that have been listening in that you wanted to ask?
Oh, Mary, what is the math program that you used that was so successful? You said in the morning, they did Great Leaps, and in the afternoon they did something in math.
Yeah, Ken has the oral calculations, and it's like a 5-minute program where they work on basic skills. So I always shared it with the teachers, and a lot of them, I think Annie used it, right, Annie? I think Annie was one of the centrally funded IEP teachers that used it and was successful with it. And maybe she could share.
Yeah, I'm not sure why she's not here, Mary, but
Oh,
I'm
hi,
in this.
Rosie.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Good to see
Good.
you.
Oh,
Do
you too.
you use the math also?
So in our school, we have used the math. Annie is training some of the people to start using it. So I haven't been one of them yet, but I'm looking forward to doing it. Annie's out of the building. I'm in the building. So as soon as it comes into the building, I'm hoping to be able to share it with the paraprofessionals that I work with as well.
Right.
But no, I know that she's brought it to the school, but I haven't done it yet. I'm not
Thank
sure
you.
where she is.
Thanks for sharing that, Rosie. You're going to love it. I guarantee it.
Yeah, well, I love
Can
the, I
Can
do
I
love
get
the
my hands
Great
on
Leaps.
it somehow? Ken, could you send me?
Yeah. Ken can
Yeah,
send it to
Dad, you're
you,
muted.
and I'll show you how to use it, Lavinia.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, you know what it is? I tell my teachers that a lot of our children don't know math to mastery. And if they don't know multiplication and division to mastery, in school, they're expected to do algebra, fractions, and geometry, trigonometry, but they don't know their multiplication facts. And so what happens? They struggle. It's the same thing with reading. If they don't know the alphabetic principles and phonemic awareness and fluency, they're struggling.
It's
You
a
know,
tool.
some kids are reading and decoding, but they don't have a clue as what they're reading. So we have to work with them on fluency and comprehension, as well as phonemic awareness. You know, it all goes hand in hand, you know, and even more so for our Ls and our students with disabilities. You know, we have to work with them, and we have to work with our children in the shelters. You know, they don't even have Wi-Fi. So, you know, it's critical. I mean, it's even more critical now because of what we've been faced with, you know, this big gap, and the pandemic has been traumatizing for so many of them. You know, a lot of them are seeing illnesses in their family, and I tell my teachers, please be patient and just try to reach them and see what you could do. And when you do reach them, don't even do great leaps. Just sit down and talk to them.
Mary, this is Annie again. I'm sorry I couldn't unmute. I'm sorry. I don't know why I couldn't unmute.
Oh, hi, Annie.
Hi,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But I find a lot of the kids know their multiplication facts because it's sort of something they want to do, but they're still adding using their fingers. They can't add and subtract.
Wow.
You know, they can't do the adding and subtraction where they might know 8 times 8 is 64 because it's sort of a fun thing to do. Whereas they don't know how to add and subtract, and they're using their fingers and making mistakes. So I see that in them with the math.
Annie, you're talking about automaticity. And
exactly, but it's the addition and subtraction,
yeah,
not even the multiplication. You focus more on the multiplication
because
than you do on.
Because that's the cornerstone of mathematical thought. Of course, I don't throw out addition. Addition is essential. Subtraction is a whole other animal, and we could do a whole show on subtraction. But if you're going to do 16x equals 32, I want the kid to see 1/2. I really, really do. And that means you have to be fluent in math facts, and you have to also know what it means. You have to know what that means. So we spend 20, 30 seconds a day. Yeah. On when we open up, give me a word problem with 3 + 8. And if they can't do it, we'll help them. If I have to go to the concrete, we'll go to the concrete. They will know what we're talking about. Otherwise, it's just pure abstraction. And this is teaching the the tools of mathematics. That's why I call it calculation. It is not math. It is a tool of math. But I only need 4 to 5 minutes of that so you can get to real math And the neat neurologic data on this that I love is that from fMRI data, when you are given a problem to mathematically solve, when you have your facts to automaticity, you have 75% more of your brain open to creative problem solving, not trying to mess around in the mud of being trapped and not having the language to meet your needs in mathematics. And so we're the tools, and it's easy to get those. We had to fight people who don't believe in those tools. They say you can do it with the calculator. No, the hell you can't. Any more than I can speak Spanish with the translator. No, you don't.
I get what you're saying with that, because I see kids and they use a calculator, but they don't understand the actual what they're solving. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I'll say my kids calculators when they earn it, when they can show they can think, because nobody in their right mind wants to figure out 31,216 into 19,022. Nobody wants to do that. I'll teach them how to do that, but nobody in their right mind wants to do that. But you earn your calculator from me.
Well, that's it. Like it's exactly that's it, because it's like, you know, 8 and 4 is 12. Now we teach them 8 plus 2 is 10 plus 2 is 12, whereas they have to know the automaticity.
8 and 4 is 12, just period.
Yes, exactly. You need to know that. You don't need to know 8 plus 2 makes 10. You need to know the facts.
For me, Annie, to speak, I don't have to go in my mind through the derivations of the verb to be.
Exactly.
I do it, but my great kids who can talk, they can't do it, don't want to do it. It makes no sense. 8 and 4 is 12. 12's a dozen. Tell me about 12.
That's it.
That's it. Exactly.
We need you.
They need to
Ken,
know.
we need you in New York for math. I observe math classes for Hunter. I observe teachers for Hunter College. The kids know more at the beginning of the lesson than at the end.
That's because people in ivory towers who have no social skills at all.
A lot of kids go in with basic facts, especially English language learners, because their families work in a cash economy. By the end of the lesson, they and I have Tweety birds in our heads.
I'm going to give you a story, Lavinia. You're going to have to get out the checkbook to have me talk math in New York City.
You're right.
I went to the International Dyslexia Association with a talk on basically multiplication facts are the cornerstone of mathematical thought. And I had 4 New York City administrators attack the talk to the point, and Esther Friedman will verify this, they had to be physically removed from my talk, telling one of the security guards, a big guy that, because I like people, I got to know him and have fun with him, he knew me, I like people, but one of the guys who had to escort her out, a New York City administrator, said that I should have been taken up to the front and lynched, and not lynched, and hung. And he was an African-American from North Carolina with a great sense of humor. He goes, "Ma'am, do you mean lynched?" That was hell. I mean, I just want to talk something very simple, that knowing your math facts to automaticity, just like our reading to automaticity, so it's part of your language, is essential.
Right.
Well, no, it wasn't to them. They're convoluted elitists. Oh, that's boy, crazy. I'm on tape saying that.
Yeah. I want to open it up. Did anybody else have one last question for Mary, and then we'll kind of have our answer to the dumb trivia that nobody's gotten yet. But were there any last questions here? Deidre, it looked like you're unmuted there.
You're on mute.
You're unmuted.
Oh, we can't hear it for some reason. We couldn't.
I have to say, Mary, aside from Ken, would be like the best trainer in this, because she trained us in math and she trained us in literacy. She trained us in all of it, and all my kids have made gains so far. So I'm going to say that for Mary.
Thank you so much, Annie. That means a lot to me.
Because without her, my kids would not be where they are. My kids have made significant gains in math and literacy from Mary teaching me how to do it.
Oh, thank you, Annie. And I wasn't supposed to show you the math, and my
Yes.
boss probably wouldn't approve of it, but I felt it was really important that you all know about it.
I applied for a grant. I told you I applied for a grant from Donors Choose for math, and they funded it. So it was all so it's all because I find the math works as good as the literacy.
Yes.
Annie, you're becoming part of this team now, and Rosie and others, and Lavinia. Do know, as a company point of view, we support our friends.
Yes.
That means if you need something, call me.
Yes.
I'll figure it out, because my mission isn't about running a company, never has been. I'm a teacher. That's what I'm about. And where it goes, it goes. But in math, Annie, if you had those math needs that you're part of the team, ask. I'll do what I can to get it to you. Of course, my objective isn't to go bankrupt. And man, we loom around that because I keep putting everything I can into tomorrow, because we stay in crisis. How do we get out of crisis? How do we get out of crisis? Well, you give everything you got, and then you build up the youth. So when we're gone, they can not only keep up the fight, but see those, like I saw people that I honor and made me who I am. We need to make the future of the young incredibly powerful by our example, not our theory, our living example. What did you do when you were there with teachers in New York City? What did you do, Ken? Did you give a speech, get applause, and leave? No. I'll stay there. Lavinia will tell you, I'll stay there to the dead end. Because it's a mission, not a business. Of course it's a business, but it's a mission. And I want to stay a mission.
Yeah, I wanted to mention too, since there's been lots of talk on math and the digital program, that without obviously guaranteeing any time it will be done, we've started at least the talks of how we're going to make math digital. We've also started the work on putting our alphabet stuff in the digital version.
Yay!
And we're also, we have it on the testing site, but are making some improvements to how things are organized to make it easier on districts and our larger customers. Wonderful. So that they're able to break students down by teachers and schools and things like that. So
I'm so excited.
Lots of really exciting stuff where we are working our butts off, and a lot of it's because of the support we've gotten for digital, and we just want to throw all that in, of course, to doing our best to make the product the best we can to keep things going. So I just want to put that little nugget out there to you all.
Can I say something, Alan?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm actually starting to train the kindergarten teachers in Great Leaps, which is actually like the kindergarten teachers, and they don't know the letters and they don't know the sounds. It would be phenomenal in digital form, because it's so hard to do it's so hard to do with the document camera. You're showing the page, everything else. It would be awesome in digital format.
Yes.
Do you have a copy of my work in language growth?
No, but I would love it if you could send it to me.
Please email it. And what it is, it's the steps of phonological awareness put in a precision teaching format with no use of words. It can be done long distance digitally very easily because it's all oral, and it goes through every step of phonological awareness, from what is a word repeating, all the way to phoneme transfers, which is called a spoonerism. We don't even stop It takes my first ELL college professors can't do the Spoonerisms, and they can't do what we do with idioms, but you don't stop. You take it to the finish line. But a New York City pre-KK administrator once saw what I had written there and said, this not only helps you teach phonological awareness, it teaches you how to teach. And yes, that's what we do. Phonological awareness is fun. It needn't be dreary. It needn't be rote boredom. It's fun. I want kids singing, dancing, thinking, and knowing what makes up the sounds that make up our language, how that works. Because how many words are, how are you? How many words did I just say? Hello. Well, both say the same exact thing in your mind, the child's mind, exactly the same thing. How are you is 3 words. Hello is 1 word. What's up? Well, I don't know how many words that is. Is it 1 word, W-U-Z-Z-U-P, or is it W-H-A-T'-S-U-P? What's up? That's the fun of language, and language is fun, ever changing. And if you put too many rules to it, you've lost all your fun. We know how to teach step by step, but anybody here who wants a copy of that book, all you got to do is send it through and we'll send it to you. And it's called language.
The in-crowd discount.
Yeah, you get the in-crowd.
May have to edit this off the YouTube video though.
I just
why? We don't have that many people looking at that video. If you look at it,
I plan to be big. I plan for more people to look at it.
Oh, if before May 1st, 2021, you're listening to this, go ahead and ask for your free language growth book. Not 10, not 20. Go ahead and ask for it. But remember, there's a deadline, and if you're watching this in the far future when we're all gone, you're not getting any free anything.
Mary, is that the book you showed me?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Mary showed me
Yes,
that book.
I always show the language growth for the emergent reader to all the teachers, but I don't think it impacts on them at the time because it is for the emergent reader, and our teachers are not working. I don't know, maybe they're not working with the emergent readers. They're working with the older children.
We were told work with 2nd grade and above, so that would be great for the 1st graders.
So many children lack phonological awareness. When you see the activities, you'll see activities you'll be able to incorporate. And that's the objective, is to be able to incorporate and increase your toolbox. If I put in your toolbox easy ways to teach phonological awareness without it being a hassle, and the kids love it, if I can do that, boom, you're to the next step. And it doesn't cost anything. Eventually, a company's got to make money, but I don't want to focus a whole lot on that. I see our children, many of our children lack phonological awareness skills, and I see most of those who try to teach phonological awareness do it in they've never been in the classroom. You die trying to do that. In a behavior disorders classroom, you're not going to do boring stuff. They'll kill you. In 1 minute, they'll kill you. That's why I don't do it. I die. You've got to turn everything and make it fun.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of 1st graders too coming into our new tutoring platform. So that's kind of been part of the drive to adding in the alphabet, is because we've gotten a young audience that we really want to do our best to serve and have the materials there.
Sally, the brain changes. We can intervene early and absolutely change that piece of the brain that's being looked at as dyslexic. While you've got high brain plasticity, early intervention may absolutely cure dyslexia. And I didn't write it. Sally Shewitz wrote it.
But yeah, to round it out, go ahead. Sorry.
Annie, let me go first, please.
Go ahead.
Go on, good girl. Thank you. It's the 2 Irish women duking it out. No, I just wanted to say that, I don't really feel that as a teacher, that whenever I left college and walked into a classroom, I don't really feel like I knew how to teach reading. I felt like I had learned a lot of theory, but not a lot of practical skills to bring me into the classroom that I could share with the kids and really teach reading. And I really believe in the foundational skills. So I have to teach the kids their ABCs before they can put them together and start to, it's things have to happen in a very systematic manner. And I don't feel like I was taught in a systematic manner how to teach reading. And it's, as you said, Mary, sometimes you're learning from those paraprofessionals that have been in the building for 10, 15 years, and they're giving me the tools. They're telling me, go back, do this. This is what's going to work. And that's what I love about this program is you can, I haven't used the math one yet, but it frustrates me beyond belief that I have to give a child who's functioning at kindergarten level, 4th and 5th grade levels goals on their IEP. Whenever I'm asking them to, add unit fractions or, more complex than that, whenever they don't know how to add 2 + 4. So I feel like I really want them to get those base skills, and that's what's missing, both in my education as a teacher and then within their education, because they keep getting bumped up, and we have to give them these grade level skills as opposed to where they're at.
Annie, foolishly, we're asking children to dive off of diving boards and take diving lessons who cannot swim, and then we wonder, why do they refuse? It's the resistance we get from a behavioral perspective, and that's my degrees. The resistance we get is perfectly normal human behavior. The violence we get is perfectly normal human behavior. When put in a punishing situation, it is every organism, including from cockroaches to Einstein, when put in a punishing situation, organisms escape. What you're watching is escape behavior, pure escape behavior. And when idiots rule the roost, asking children to dive off of diving boards who cannot swim and then not wonder and then thinking something's wrong with the child because they will not jump, we have to get that word out. That's crazy. That's pure ass crazy. I don't want to put labels on kids. I don't want to torture kids, but I'm not stupid. I don't want to ask kids to jump into a damn pool from a 20-foot diving board who can't swim. I'm not stupid. Why are we doing this? And they need to be called out loudly. You can't do fractions if you don't have multiplication facts in your head, or you don't know the system to be able to figure it out. You can't do it. And nor will you understand it. So we'll teach to understanding, and I can't wait. Most everyone here is in New York City right now. I can't wait to come to the city and teach about teaching. Rosie, I had zero instruction in the teaching of reading. In my first learning how to teach reading, I was given first grade behaviorally disordered first graders who couldn't read, who were extreme. So it was all task analysis and behavior. What is reading? My first thing, phonics. What's human behavior? Well, let me find someone who can read and I'll dissect what proficiency is. I won't take it from a textbook. I don't need textbooks. I need kids. And we can figure it out ourselves and get better and better and better.
Yeah, because I completely agree with you, Ken, because, I teach 4th and 5th grade self-contained, and I have students and, they can't read dog, simple words. So whatever has been done with that child up till now has not worked.
Are you behavioral disorders? Are you in BD classrooms?
There are some children in my class with behavioral issues, and some that have, as I said, this one child, he cannot read dog. He can't read,
Call and let's talk, and let's get in person and let's talk. I know how to do this. It is my world, and if I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know.
Right.
My world, and I did basically the 30 years there.
Right. Oh, I'd appreciate the help, because with him, I just am back to that. I have to put 4th grade goals on his IEP when his child is functioning at pre-K level.
I know that insanity of the system. I know it all too well. And I had to move schools and stuff because, oh my, how do I say this nicely and it being recorded? E. Cummings, his great poem, Olaf Bravenbold finishes his poem with the lines, "There is some I will not eat." And that is Ken Campbell. I will drive 50 miles to be on the ship of a seasoned captain on an old tug than be on the damn Titanic. And if you decide you want convenience in your career, that you want your school close to you, you want convenience in your career, then damn, you deserve every piece of shit you're eating. You deserve it all. You are in charge of your own career. Find where you can be successful. Get away from the idiots. They abound and they're killing people. Don't let them kill you.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, I was not a convenient child, so I veer towards the ones that are inconvenient as well. So I like that. I find them more interesting.
An old
Which I don't
horse. They'll always tell me, takes one to know one. Ah,
Yeah.
a love of children. I see love permeating the group. Wow, everybody here is from New York City now. Basically, I can't wait. I can't wait to come there. And Mary will tell you how I like to come and do things. It is creating teams and creating futures, not lecturing. I don't lecture. I'm a Southerner. I'm not Jesus either, but I tell parables. We talk that way. Irish probably understand. We don't get straight to the point. We meander, and the story goes on forever. That's some J.R.R. Tolkien stuff. The road goes on forever. It just does. We start stories, we end stories, and that's what I like about the happy hour here. It's a continuing path and story as we all share, we all learn, and we create something in this incredible crisis of reading. And you see the crisis of math too, but nobody's in jail because they don't know their timetables.
Right. Well, let me just to kind of close it out for our video, say thank you again to Mary for your time and you know, sharing with us, and you've impacted a lot of the educators that are here, and also of course so many children. So thank you for, you know, sharing and always being a part of kind of this team and helping us, you know, achieve that mission of reaching the kids of New York.
Thank you, Colin. I appreciate your kind words. It's been a pleasure and something that I've loved working on all these years, and hope to continue working with Great Leaps for many years after.
Absolutely, and hope we can again have some good food or something in New York, you know, and get past all this stuff. That's what we're looking forward to.
We're gonna have to plan. We're gonna have to plan that and plan this and get this party started in New York.
Oh yeah. And hey, when you guys come to the civilized part of Florida, I will try to aim you guys to the part of Florida most New York City never heard of, but the wondrous nature part of Florida that you know, I love and I want to share with you also. And it's very funny to me that New York City is the area of the country that most accepted this redneck boy's work, with my accents, with my mannerisms, with my double negatives, with my bad sense of humor.
I can attest to all of that.
Oh, I had fun. Oh, New York City is a sitting duck for jokes. Oh boy, are you guys. And they fall for everyone because, yeah.
You want to give us the trivia answer too? We hadn't. I don't think we got any correct answers in, but if you want to give the riddle again and the answer.
Thank you, Ashley.
Yeah. Hey, you guys ought to all feel bad about this because I gave the first clue. I got a haircut today, a COVID kind of haircut in the office. And so I talked to him about what we're doing, and he said, "Oh, give me the clue." And I said, "Okay, you can't wear this mistake in Vienna." And he looks and says, "A Freudian slip." And bingo.
So there you have it.
You got it in 2 seconds.
Wow.
was a Freudian slip. And, you know, I tried to say, hey, when I do this, you know, man, it's been so bad sometimes I've had to sit on the couch and talk to my therapist.
Hi, Ashley.
We're going, Ashley.
Yeah. So do you want another clue, or can we just bag this part of the show?
I'm gonna go. Have a good weekend.
You too. Have a
Hi,
good one.
Lavinia.
Yeah, I think we'll just come back next week. We may have another riddle for you, or we may come up with a new idea to get some involvement, unless y'all start sending us some answers. We'll see. But either way, again, thanks to everybody who joined us live here. And
Thanks for the opportunity, Colin. I appreciate it.